with the author of Olurounbi's Promise, and the author is my big mommy, Princess Sharifat Akorede. She's my auntie, my big auntie. Here are the interviewers. That's Zeenah, Zubaida, and Zeenah Akorede. I'm Zeenah Akorede. So we'll first begin with our first question. What inspired you to write this book, basically?
Thank you, Zeenah Akorede, and all my wonderful children here, Zeenah, Zubaida, and Zeenah. And behind the camera is Auntie Yetunde. We will soon see her soon. So thank you for asking those questions. I've been writing a collection of African stories, and the reason is because I realized that a lot of young people of these days, both in Nigeria and in the diaspora, which is Africans who are living outside of their homeland, we seem to be losing the culture, the tradition, the richness of our stories, folklore. So for example, I grew up on stories told by the elders, in the community. So I decided to embark on this project and collect young folklore, African folk stories, folk tale, folklore, whatever you want to call it, so that I can share it with families, young people, as well as adults, so that we would not lose this rich culture and tradition.
Wow, thank you very much. We'll first start off by the symbolism. In the first few chapters of the book, we hear the children of the village are being told a story. What's the symbolism? Does that connect to you in any way?
Thank you. Yes, it does. So in Nigeria, when stories are told, it is a very interactive exercise. It's interactive. The audience, as well as the storyteller, they participate in the story, so it makes it even more enjoyable. So for example, in Yoruba, alo means story. So in Yoruba, when I say alo, all the audience will say alo. So let's try it. Alo, 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 alo. So basically, you can tell that gets the attention of the children, that it's time to tell story. And so in modern days, they have, since English is the official language in Nigeria, they have coined the English version of it. So when they're telling English stories in English, they will say, so I, as the storyteller, will say story, and then you guys will say story. So once again, let's imagine that I'm the storyteller. So I say story, and we do it 3 times. Story. One more time. Story, Zeenah.
Story.
And then we go to once upon a time. So when I say once upon a time, you guys will say time. Once upon a time, time. Once upon a time, time. And so on and so forth. So that is how the story usually starts. And then, the children and adults, so it's not only for children, will then listen to it.
So how did you know that you wanted to be a writer?
So I didn't know I wanted to be a writer when I was 16. I had been writing when I was much younger, but I didn't know that I was writing, really writing. So what used to happen is that I would have thoughts, come to my mind, and I would put them on paper. And, they're usually my thoughts and romantic stuff, and then I will hide them, because I had a boy that I had a crush on. I had a crush on him, so I would write, all this, crush crushing words down, and then I would be afraid that my sister might see it, my older sister, so I would hide them. But when I entered a university for my bachelor's degree, in my English literature class, I had a professor. Her name is Mrs. Shalanda. She's a U.S. She was, from the U.S. And so whenever I submit assignments, then she told me one time, and I never forget. That's why I'm repeating it to you guys. And it's also stated in my book that, Sharifa, you write very well. I'm going to make a writer out of you. And I was flabbergasted, like, what? A writer out of me? So since that time, I started developing the craft of writing, so that's how I developed I realized that I have the talent and the gift and the love for writing.
Wow. So some background information on you. Anything that you want to tell us about, like, where you came from and your traditions?
Okay. This is an awesome interview. Okay. So I'm originally from Nigeria, from the royal family in Ogbomosho, from the Shoun of Ogbomosho royal family. There are 5 ruling families in Ogbomosho, and my background, my lineage is the Olaoye. So we're well known in Ogbomosho, and my mother is from Eko Akete, Lagos. She's a Lagos indigene. So I'm a combination of those 2 wonderful places. And so I've been in the U.S. For almost 30 years. And, I had my bachelor's degree in English literature, had 2 master's degree, one in international studies, Middle Eastern studies is the specialty. And then I decided to change my career. I went into social work. So I'm a licensed social worker in the state of Texas. So in addition to being a published writer.
That's awesome. For writers who are aspiring to become writers and to be similar to you, what advice can you give them?
Awesome. Just write. Write. When you have those thoughts that come to your mind, just write. Don't worry about correction. Don't worry about it being grammatically correct or whatever. Just pour it down. And then later you can do the proofreading and editing and all those fine things. But write. And when you write, keep them, keep them in good, safe places. And you never know, you can develop it and there's no age limit. You can't say that you're too young to be a published writer. There are very, very young people who are publishing, so work through it. Tell your parents if you know that you have that interest, so they can help you to get your word out and you can get published.
Readers, do you guys have any questions?
No.
I do. So like I heard like this story that there's an arrow tree, and I was wondering where is it?
So Zeenah has been reading the story just like everyone else here. So and I'm so impressed, with and you can tell a little bit about, what you like about it, if you like it. Iroko tree is in the Nigerian mythology legend. It is the king of the forest, just like a lion is the king of the jungle, of the animals. So Iroko is the king of the forest. The tree is actually very valuable, but the story is that it has some mystical power. It has some mystical power that it can do some things. It can magical and mystical power. Okay. So can you say a little bit about what you read from the book?
So I read that Nepa turned off the power, and then the little children went to go visit Alaji, and then he tells them a story about a husband and a wife, and they never had a child, and people were being mean to them. And then one day when the wife was coming back from the supermarket, he started to cry because people was being mean to her while she was walking home, and the husband tried to cheer her up, and then she felt happy, and that's where I left off.
Awesome. Wonderful. This is a good reader. She got it. Zubeida, can you tell us?
Well, I also read about the children. There was a power outage, and children went to go see Alaji to hear his stories, and then the family, that was really sad, and the mother. I just think it's really like sad that people are mean to her because she doesn't have enough money. And I also like the story because it has a lot of like African traditions in there.
Awesome. Zeenah, what do you know about this story? Can you tell us? Did you read the book?
Look at the camera.
Yep, you read the book? You like it? Yep. Okay. So, thank you guys so much. Now, the interviewer is going to turn to Auntie Yetunde. Zeenah.
Right now, we're about to introduce our new guest, Yetunde Abdul-Kareem, also known as Safurat Abdul-Kareem. She's a new reader, so...
Hi everyone, my name is Yetunde Abdul-Kareem. I've not had the chance to read the whole book yet, but I've kind of found the background. Also coming from Nigeria, I heard lots of stories from my aunties, my uncles. Just like our big mommy said, it was always story, and I'm all eager. I'm sitting down, I'm saying story. They say time, and it's time. And I was actually the only one. I was the only baby because it took a while for my little sister to come, and then I just used to sit down there and listen to the stories all day, which was really amazing for me. I learned so much from the story. So seeing Big Mommy, like writing the story for the next generation, and also I can also read it, is really inspiring, and I hope it gets the message out there.
Thank you. So let's start off. Like, what do you see here what do you see here in the U.S. and the difference between the U.S. stories versus how your Yoruba stories are told? Like, do they have more impact on the children? Like, what do you think?
Well, if you're born in the U.S. and you live in an African home, you've definitely heard stories about Africa, so you know. But like reading a book, I feel that's more tangible. You have something, you have proof. Like this is, if someone says, "Where did you hear that from?" Well, I have a book that says all these things, and it's published out there, so there are no lies. So I believe that's really good for the not only like people that live outside Africa, but even people that live in Africa, they can also read and get their story.
That's very true. So, can you tell me about, like, how do you feel about the book? Like, do you have any theories that are going on in the story?
Okay, like I said before, I've not had a chance to read the book, but I've heard similar stories, so I think the theories are like what are true, because we've all heard the stories back at home.
Well, I'll share my theory of the story. Basically, I think that Olurounbi, the woman in the story, the person, the Alaji who's telling the story, I think he's telling the story of the woman. So I'm gonna just like that out there. So when you read the story, like look for clues in the story, because that's really important. Because the story is just like this, like folk tales, they give you a big message. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much. This is awesome, and so we encourage everyone to get a copy of the book, and pass down the culture, pass down the richness of the African culture. And I'm glad that you guys didn't get to the end of it, so you won't spoil.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And during downtimes, I encourage parents this is also to encourage literacy, to read. Reading is great for whatever career you want to specialize in. Reading will help you. So let's read on Olurounbi's promises on my website, www. We know that everything is www. Well, anyways, princesssherifatakorede.com. princesssherifatakorede.com, and it's $13.99. It's also on Kindle, so you can search it up on Kindle as well. Thank you, Ms. Zeenah Akorede.
Bye.
Akorede.
Thank you, everyone.
Zeenah Akorede, Ms. Zeenah Akorede, and your big your auntie here, Miss Yetunde Abdul-Kareem. Thank you for that insight. From Nigeria, having experienced storytelling and how enjoyable it had been for you. So hopefully when you get married and have your children, you will continue with the same tradition.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
that's awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Say bye, Zeenah.
Bye.